Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Let's begin in Kaduna State, where at least 287 school children kidnapped in Kuriga town of Chinku local government area of Kaduna State by terrorists have been freed after 17 days in captivity. The governor of the state, Uba Sani, in a statement announced the release of the students and thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for prioritizing the safety and security of Nigerians and particularly ensuring that the abducted Kuriga school children were released unharmed. The governor also expressed gratitude to the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, for coordinating the operations of the security agencies, which eventually resulted in the return of the school children. Well, his statement reads, "In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I wish to announce that our Kuriga school children have been released. Our special appreciation goes to our dear President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for prioritizing the safety and security of Nigerians and particularly ensuring that the abducted Kuriga school children are released unharmed while the school children were in captivity. I spoke with Mr. President several times. He shared our pains, comforted us, and worked around the clock with us to ensure the safe return of the children. Special mention must also be made to our dear brother, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, for his exemplary leadership. I spent sleepless nights with Malam Ribadu, fine-tuning strategies and coordinating the operations of the security agencies, which eventually resulted in this successful outcome. The Nigerian Army also deserves special commendation for showing that with courage, determination, and commitment, criminal elements can be degraded and security restored in our communities. We also thank all Nigerians who prayed fervently for the safe return of the school children. This is indeed a day of joy. We give Almighty Allah all the glory. Signed by Senator Uba Sani, Governor of Kaduna State. Well, we are so excited, aren't we? I mean, congratulations to our troops. The governor has also has thanked the president as well as Nuhu Ribadu. But you know, we are going to have a live later on in the program where we'll hopefully speak with the governor of the state and we'll get to hear how the school children were released. We don't know if ransom has been paid yet, but you know, we'll try to find out what's happening really in Kaduna State. I mean, I just want to say that, you know, commendations again to the security forces. We all know that Kaduna State is, you know, the head of all the military installations. And when you hear that these children are kidnapped in Kaduna State, which is, you know, a landlocked area, you wonder what's actually going on. Where were these terrorists hiding for 17 days with our school children? Were they in Kaduna State? Were they in the border? We need to find out all these details. Again, I am so happy that our children are back home safely.
Absolutely, Oji. Congrats to the Kaduna State government and the federal government and to the military for the safe return of the pupils. Details are still sketchy, of course, and just like you said, we'll wait to hear directly from the governor on what actually transpired. I like the tone of his message, you know, congratulating the president, speaking to the fact that he was deeply involved with the NSA and Nuhu Ribadu about what was required, you know, to have the kids freed. We're not sure, as of now in particular, in terms of the details and the number on social media. We're hearing 137, other people are saying that 287. You know, those are the type of details that we need to hear. But more importantly for me is about, I mean, you've mentioned it that we'll wait to know if ransom was paid.
Yes.
That will be an important, you know, thing to know, given the position of Mr. President, that he is vehemently opposed to payment of ransom and everything. But then if you look carefully at the wordings of the statement by the governor, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit dodgy. And when you say that kids have been released or that they have returned home or that they have been freed, is suggestive of the fact that it is the bandits who did the release. Because if the human's job came from our security apparatuses, I think the details will have, the specificity will have been, you know, a lot clearer. did you rescue them? In all the about 15, 13 paragraphs of that statement, I didn't see the word, rescue. I saw release, I saw freed from where? Freed from where to where? At what point did the officers of the Nigerian army, take custody of them? For example, like you said, were they camped in Kaduna? Were they camped in the outskirts or outside of Kaduna? It is important for these things to be known because this sort of statement reminds me of the previous encounters when people will ask, how did you free them? Were bandits killed? Did you arrest anybody? What sort of intelligence went into it? Did you destroy the locations where these people were freed? Those things are still not clear now. But again, it is important that the safety and the health and the overall well-being of these kids, pupils and students, it is important. They will need to go through, rehabilitation, trauma, things and everything. But it is important so that we do not come back here in a week's time, in a month's time, in 3 months' time, saying that another 150 have been kidnapped, given that in a space of 3 months, in the last 3 months, more than 800 have been taken. Maybe 137 or 287 are back. That is good progress. Yes. But then we don't want a situation where a certain huge amount has been paid and then we have been told that they were rescued or they were freed.
Yeah. See, you cannot be more correct. I mean, I think that the government and, the military, they're very careful about the use of that word, whether it's released or whether it's rescued. Last week, I did take the story in Kaduna State. About 16 of them were rescue. That was the word, because it was like they said there was a gun duel between the terrorists and the army. So they actually did use that word.
That was specific.
That was specific. It was rescued, and we saw children. We saw pictures. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures as well.
I think what's really interesting about this is that till now no group actually claimed responsibility for the attacks. Some residents blamed bandits. Some blamed the gangs that raid the villages. But it's very I'm very happy that these children have been released. I was reading a statement that the UN put out, of course, congratulating the Kaduna State government, but they also reiterated again that it's not just about them being rescued, it's about them implementing the Safe School initiative, because these children are still very vulnerable. We saw the schools, exactly to that same school,
no security,
we
no
still
fence,
no fence, nothing. So what stops another group of bandits from just walking in and doing the same thing? And just before, I think a week before, we had those women and children from the IDP camps that were kidnapped as well. So about two in Borno. I know I'm 200. I mean, I'm just we're happy that this has happened, but let's also remember that they're still out there. So this is not a time to, we're celebrating, but let's also remember to just buckle up and make sure that they find these women and these children, because for every day that they are there, they're going through some kind of trauma. By the time they come out of there, the PTSD, I can't imagine, will be unbelievable. They said that these children that were released or rescued, all of them are fine, fine to an extent. And now that they are out, they also have to make sure that there's some kind of care that goes into them. After they do health checks, then they need to also check their minds as well, because it's an ordeal being kidnapped and being, in the forest for long days on end.
Yeah. I mean, I like that comment you made about the Safe School initiative. Hopefully, we'll get to speak with the governor and we'll ask him what he's actually going to do about that.
Yes, I think it's very important that our governors, as well as our federal government, are very proactive. They're reacting to one kidnapping to another. It seems like they're jumping from one fire to another. And this shows also the importance of investing in our security apparatus, mostly when it comes to intelligence, because intelligence is what will prevent these continuous acts of terrorism and kidnapping, because this is what it is. Communities are living under terror, whether it's a bandit, whether it's another communal dispute. We have multiple communities living under terror within our nation. We have people who are internally displaced within our nation. So this shows that both our security NSA, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, the governor and our president need to be more proactive when it comes to the securing the lives, the property of Nigerians. Because beyond these school initiatives, like you've just said, is that there were IDPs that were taken from Borno State. We also have a situation where we were just talking about it yesterday in Delta State, where we have women and children who are hiding in the bushes. Yes. These are internally displaced people in another region in our country. So I think, yes, I'm very pleased for the community who has their children back, and pleased for the parents who have their children back. And I hope that the children, they've mentioned rehabilitation, I hope that they're taken very good care of. But we also have to make sure that we prevent more of these from occurring.
Well, we look forward to an update from the Kaduna State government.